Okay, let's get ready to start turn 5. Let's pull through objectives. 3 close air support in Bravo. And 7 successful raids. This one's a hard one to do. But the 3 in Bravo is doable. Okay, next is the Recon. So let's do the decap, and we pass. And then let's do the event one, and we pass. And here would be the event. Return 1 eliminated pilot to play. If no pilots have been eliminated, draw and resolve a new event. That's an interesting one. This would be immediate. So we could use our pilots this turn, and then we would get it back. That's how that would work. I would keep it, but then we have to basically get rid of we have to use one of our pilots, which I guess is okay. But the thing is if there's none eliminated, we have to draw a new event, which could stink. But you know what? If we put this on the bottom of the deck, we're drawing a new event anyways. And it keeps the 9-9 out of the game. So I'll take it. I'll take it. All right, so then let's look at the situation. We have 8 versus 8 all across the front. So where do we want to beat them back? I think we want to beat them back wherever they've already advanced. And so like this one has advanced here. Although that one's worth 2 points. So let's pick on Bravo. And Bravo is actually where we're trying to do our mission. So let's do a FOFA there. And of course we fail. We have yet to get a FOFA in the entire 2 games we've played. Okay, so now we do our planning. All right, so we got a dead strike where we need just 1 point. The OCA can use 3 more. And then we're gonna finally have a strong, so we would be able to use our mega bomber here to start hitting other places, right? Because right now we've been getting OCA and dead up. Having an OCA of 4 is pretty darn good, considering most of our planes are at least a 5. So that's a 9, but I still want to bump it up 3 more. So of course, OCA, he's going to go there, and we're going to use a PGM on him. We're going to put the stealth on the dead to get our 1 point back, and then we'll put this guy on the decap strike with Canada escorting, and then we're going to put we'll put the British pilot there. The American pilot is for sure going to be the stealth, because if I ever draw a 10, my stealth plane gets automatically destroyed. So we don't want that. And then I have a German pilot here. Looking at my German planes, we could put this one on an air escort mission and then just have that pilot there. I'm not sure we even need it. You know what we can do instead is put him on one of the bomber ones and see if we can squeak by with a single bomber. And in raid 9, we're going to put on Bravo. We need 3 hits on Bravo. The other one, we need 7 successful raids. So let's say that that's 1, and then this is 2, and this is 3, and this is 4. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 7 raids right there. So I'm going to put 3 of them on Bravo, so that way we can do 3 hits to Bravo. And then the last one, I'll put on Delta. Okay, and so then it becomes we're just doing air escorts. See, that's where the game really opens up. See, look how many raids we can do with just single planes. And then look at how many planes I still have left. And so I can start doubling and tripling hits here. So this guy, for example, has a 7. So I put it there, and that's a 12. And then this is a 15 for 3 hits on raid 7. And then this is, it's a 4. That's a 9, 10, 11 for 2 hits. And you know what, we're going to put them there. And then this is one more plane. That, oh, I would help him. There. Okay, so let's do the dead run first. This is the stealth, and we succeed, and we go to 5. Then we're gonna do the OCA. Oh, I need to give him stuff, so that would explain why this looks so easy. That there, and that there, and then this guy is going to help here for 7. No. This is a 10, that's a 9, and then we'll put him there, like that. Okay, so let's draw for this one. Air escort, I got a 9. We got really lucky there. And then the last one, we got a 5, so we passed that. And so yes, I use a PGM, and I do 3 hits, and this goes all the way up to 7. We're maxed out on both. And now we're gonna do this. That's a 6 plus a 7, that's an auto pass. This is a 10, and it counts as a 0, so we pass. And then we get to do a decap. So I have to shuffle, so I'm just going to grab the card before I shuffle here. And yes, the 10-10 cards are getting removed with all due haste. There's a 10-10 right there. We now have 4 of them out of the game. So I'm assuming that the other scenarios that are considered harder, one of 2 things is going to be happening. We're either going to have less overall planes available for our missions, which always makes a mission harder, or the NATO forces are going to be super weak over here on the combat lines. That one I could easily see, because then it would be really hard to get them reinforced, and you're going to lose a lot of ground early in the game. I certainly hope that they don't just limit the number of planes you have, because part of what makes this game fun is having all these planes available. Removing the number of planes you have available just for the sake of hardness takes away some of what makes it fun. Making it so your NATO forces aren't that strong from the start and you have to reinforce them and survive, now that can be interesting. But anyways, we're getting back to this. I'm going to keep resolving. Okay, so we have a 7 here. So I'm just going to go through real quick. Auto pass, auto pass, auto pass, auto pass. So no airstrikes need to be tested. Auto pass, auto pass, auto pass. This one's a 9. So we got 1 check we have to do, and I got a 6. So we pass everything. So now 6 does a hit. I'm going to come over here so you can see 6 does 1 hit. And then 7 is doing, 3, 7 is 10. 3 hits. So this becomes a 4, and then 9 is doing 1 hit. So I'm assuming I can do this. I don't think I'm capped at 4. Am I? That would be really depressing if that's the case. If that's the case, I'm going to just go somewhere else. It does say you need to have a NATO unit and a thrust. That's the only thing I see. Yeah, so I'm going to make it a 5. And then 8 here is just a single hit. Like so. Okay, so now we do, we succeeded at our objectives. So I get 3 RPs here, and then 3 RPs there, and then we're gonna have stuff happen. So that's 6 RPs. We're gonna cap out at 10, like nothing. Okay, so ground combat. So we have 8 versus 8 in every battle here. So this first one, as long as we don't draw a 0, we hit them. And of course, 1 hit is no big deal because I'm gonna draw and then they'll get all their cards back. But this one's an interesting one because we did 5 hits. So I'm at a 13, and if I somehow get to 16, I double him, and then that's when magic happens. And I got a 2. So 5 plus 8 is 13, 14, 15. I'm 1 short of doubling him. So he just takes 1 damage and does not retreat. Then the next one is a 1. So he takes a hit. I'm still very happy with this situation. This one's a 2 plus our 1 hit is a 3. It's still not enough. We got a 7. And then we have a 1. So this goes down to a 7. And then we have a 1. And this goes down to a 7. Okay. So now we can do our objective cards. The Sector Bravo retreats. And so Bravo is this guy. And so he's going to retreat. And I'm pretty sure when they retreat, they take another damage. Let me make sure. Yeah, he takes a hit and retreats. And then this becomes a 1, which hopefully we can get some reinforcement points to beef that up. And then our other one says 2 Warsaw Pact retreats at any sector of my choice. I'm assuming I can do them in 2 different sectors, or is it 2 in 1 sector? The good news here is I get 2 points back. And, like, for example, can I bump him back and then bump another one back? That's my question. It says 2 Warsaw Pact retreats in any sector of your choice. I'm going to assume yes, I can. So I can bump this one back twice, which is interesting, or 2 other ones back once. This one's worth 2 points. I'm going to bump him, no. I think if I bump 2 different ones, I'm going to have 3 of them that just have a strength of 1. That's really hard to reinforce. So I'm just going to bump this one back twice because even though I'm putting in strength 1 units, I only really have 2 fronts that I need to reinforce because they're both strength 1. And then this one is going to take 2 hits as well because he's going to retreat twice. So he has to take a hit both times. So that's the other advantage. So by knocking him back to 5, you know, we might have a chance of reinforcing this and saving it. And we get a point for that. So they're knocked back to 2. Okay, so now we do their reinforcements. And I'm just going to take all the cards, and we're just going to draw them out of my hand. Just because my table with the plexiglass, it's actually really hard to... Okay, so 1, 8, 5, so much for that, 8, 4, 8, 1. We got very lucky here. He's only up to a 6. And then these other two should go up to an 8, and they do. 8 and 8. Okay, and then we draw 6 cards for them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And again, I'm just going to leave them in a single pile. I'll only worry about it if I have to. And then our reinforcements are happening. And here, see, that's a bad one. We've been getting really good the whole game, so now we only got a 2. So this one's our best shot, so I'm going to give him 2 and bump him up to 3. So we still have a 6 to 3. This other one's an 8 to 1. We're probably going to lose him again, but it is what it is. So then we do the event, and as you know, our pilots didn't take any damage, so we're going to have to draw another event. Reduce all attack result values during ground combat by 1. Oh, that's an awful event. That goes into the next turn. That's not good. Okay, so much for being able to pick our event card. All right, so turn end. I'm actually going to leave my planes out because I've already went through all the trouble of figuring out how to do my missions. So I'm going to leave them out. And that will allow me to make my next mission planning quicker. I don't know why I have one extra here, but we'll figure that out later. Okay, so next we have to do the 2 draws here for these 2. So remember evens, we got an odd for dead and an odd. So we're maxed out on both. So that means our research points are 10. I'm going to buy the last 2 pilots here for 2 each. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have 6 points left, and I'll spend all of those to get 2 more PGMs. So that's that. Next. And I know I did that a little out of order, but don't worry, it's no big deal. Next is turn 6. So for the most part, we are winning. Those first couple turns make or break your game with this. It's really amazing how it hinges on how those first couple turns play out. Okay, so draw our 2 objectives. We need 2 in Foxtrot and 4 in Charlie. So we can pretty much get these. So let's see what we can do. Okay, so let's do reconnaissance. We're going to do the decap strike, and I failed. So these planes are not available for decap strikes. I'm pulling them back, and I don't need to do a dead run, and I don't need to do an OCA run either. These are all coming back, folks. So, because we're maxed out on both of these, so these 3 raids are not available, or they're not going to do us anything. So that means we can start hitting some targets here. Close air support, big time. So, and let's see what we can do. These are both strikes. See, this is a strike and that's a strike. What kind of runs can we do that uses strike? You can see it's dead, OCA, and decap. Those are all strikes. See, our strike guys don't do anything to help us. I mean, this guy's our awesome sauce guy, but he's not awesome sauce when you're just doing close air support. They're your strikes. And then I have this stealth bomber, And that's also a strike. See that? It's a 0-1-6. So he's only good at doing strikes. So I have 3 of them that can do strikes, and there's no strikes to do. So they're not necessarily helpful. So let's see what we can do here. I do have a 5 there. And obviously I have a 6 here, so we can get 3 of them there. So this is 3, 6. That's only 6 points in ground combat. I'm not even going to do more than a hit. I mean, I can obviously put him on to get 2 hits. But then I was planning on maybe doing another, raid with these other planes left over. I literally have nothing to do with my planes because the decap strike went away. This is funny. So yeah, I'll put a pilot on him so he doesn't get shot down. And yeah, I'll put these on here so I can do 2 hits. I guess I should just look at my other ones and see if I can maybe get extra hits there. Like this is a 4. 5, 6, 7, 8 is not enough. I mean, I just have all these jet planes here. This 533 should be replaced with a 522. This is so funny. That's a 3-hit guy right there. This would be 6, 7, 8. That's not enough to even do 2 hits. That's what's insane about it. I just don't have enough ground combat guys. Now, here's the thing. I got these ones over here that are 7s. They're overkills. So what I should be doing is, for example, put this 5 there. That's a 10, right? And where else is there a 5? Here's another 5 for a 10. And then I can make, for example, this is a 3 plus a 2 to make a 5 there. And yes, that's 4 of them, but I'm not going to do multiple hits with all of them, right? So then this is 3, 6, 3, 6. I mean, there's 10 right there, right? That's 2 hits. This is 14. And 1 is 15, right? So that's 3 hits for that guy. This is only 6 here. That's 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a 2-hit one. This is 4, 7, 10 for 2 hits there. So we used all but 1 plane. And then as far as pilots go, my stealth bomber will always have a pilot just because I don't want to lose the stealth. And then I actually have another American. I'll put it on this guy, and then for the British ones, I actually probably need more British ones because I'm using them to do the most risky stuff. This one I'll put on this guy over here. Okay, so enough of that. Let's get to the raid resolution. We're maxed out on everything. So just a refresher, that's a +5 to ground and 7 to air. So let's go through, and I haven't picked the order of things yet, but let's do air first. Auto, 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 auto. So we don't even have to do an air check. The ground though, this is a 10, so I have to check to see if we get a 10. And I got a 9. So close call there. I mean, the good news is we've eliminated a lot of the 10s from the deck. This one is another one of those. This one's actually a 9, so that last card would have killed us. But good news is we got a 5. And then these two are 10s, so we got a draw. And we got a 2. And we got a 0. And then this last one is, I believe, a 10. Yes, it is. Actually, no, that last one's a 15, so no worries there. So we do our hits. Now, I forgot to specify where the raids were going to be. We need to have 2 hits in Foxtrot and 4 hits in Charlie. That one was our objective. So this one here has 2 hits for Foxtrot, and so I'm just going to automatically just put the 2 hits because we know they're all automatically succeeding. And then I have one that does 3 hits. I'm just trying to find it. This one is 2 hits. I'll put that in Charlie for 2 hits. And then 7 is, this one's the one that has 3 hits. So I'll put that in Charlie as well. And that puts us up to 5 hits. And then raid 6 here has 2 hits. So I'll put it here and get him up to 4. And then raid 5 has just 1 hit, and I'm going to add it to Charlie here, like so. Okay, so we're going to just give them some nice boosts. All right, so I succeeded at everything, which is amazing. I get 5 victory or research points for 1 resource points, and then 2 for the other. I'm already up to 7. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to max out at 10, given all the ways you score research points. So that part's going to be fine. The objectives are like overkill in some way, but they do help. These objectives are nice. And yes, fulfilling the objectives helps you immensely. It's just that in an early game, you have to ignore them. It's a very interesting thing. I'm still going to insist, though, that there's only one formula for winning this, and that's exactly what I'm doing. But, I mean, obviously from here, the choices get bigger. It's just the opening game. It's like chess. There's opening moves, and there's only so many you should do. Anyways, back to this ground combat phase. We have an 8 versus 8, but remember, our event is screwing us over. We're getting a -1 to everything. So, for example, this one is a -1, which is a 0. That means we lose. So this unit at 8 strength is destroyed, and he advances on us. Then the next one is an 8 versus a 1, and so it's destroyed, and he advances on us. And then the next one is an 8 versus an 8, and we get a 0, which would be an awful, except we add 6 points to it. So we do punch him in the mouth and win that one. So let me get these raids back. And then I have to shuffle because of the shuffle card. So this event caused us to lose that alpha one, and we were sitting pretty in alpha. We had 8. We had knocked them all the way back. We had an 8 versus 8 situation, and then they made us do a 0. And then the shuffle would have actually hurt us too. It would have made us get a 0. Actually, it would have been a -1 because we had to reduce it by 1. And it doesn't say that it has to be a 0, but we had +6, so we're okay. So now we draw for this 8 versus 8, and we got a 2, which was all we needed. So we knock him down to a 7. And then this last one's an 8 versus 8. We draw a 1, which normally would be a hit, but we have 4 hits here. So he goes to a 7. So now we do our objective cards, and it says that Charlie and Foxtrot both retreat 1, which is great, except we have too many, so this will drop to a 6. But see, this is just a 1. And then this one will drop to a 6. It's great to push them all back, but we got all these weak front lines again. And then we do this, so the top one is already an 8. Next one's already an 8. The next one becomes an 8. The next one becomes an 8. Next one becomes an 8. And the last one becomes an 8. It's really silly in a way to do all this. So I've been just drawing 6 and I'm just sticking them in a pile. And then we draw our reinforcements, and we did get 8, which helps. So where do we go? Well, first of all, they pushed forward here, and I'm going to bump this one to an 8. So that was 7 of our points. And then I get 1 more point, and I'm going to add it to this guy to make him a 4, even though that's a lost cause. We really shouldn't do that. I'll do it anyways. I think maybe we can help him with some close air support strikes. Okay, so now it's time for the random event. And it's a Scud. Thrust line delta, reduce the value of the NATO ground force adjacent to the waypoint force by 1. So this is for which one? Delta. So our delta goes back down to 3. Okay. Now we get our RPs, which I've already given myself up to 10 because I easily have, look, I have 4 cities. We have it. It's easy 10. And then I get to spend my points. And I think this is where the PGMs are going to start coming in, because I'm going to buy 3 more PGMs and I'm up to 7 and my max is 9. So I'm going to start using them, and we're going to start busting the crap out of something. All the pilots have been bought. There's nothing else to buy. There's nothing to repair. So then we go to these things, the dead. So I have to not draw an even. So there, I got an even. So the dead drops by 1. And I drew an even, and the OCA drops by 1. And so now we move on to turn 7. There's no, the Warsaw Pact only has 2 victory points, so we don't have to worry about anything there. And we're going to draw 2 objective cards. And of course I got the shuffle, which I was expecting. And so we're going to have to shuffle, and get some new cards. Okay, I got the shuffle, which means that's a null objective. So then we just need 7 successful raids this turn. Doesn't matter where they go. And remember, we can only do 3 in one particular location. So off we go there. And now I'm going to draw to see if I can do a decap. And I got a 7, and the answer is no. My reconnaissance is already over. So I already have my raids on the board. I'm not going to change much here. As you know, I'm pretty much auto-passing everywhere I can. However, I do need to get OCA and dead up. So the dead I'm going to do with the stealth bomber. And then the OCA, I just need to grab one of these. So I think I'm going to just grab this raid here and just slide it over, because this is a strike plane anyways. And we only need 1 point of each. So I just need 1 hit for each of those. And these do count as 2 raids. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I would need 1 more for 7. So so then what that means is I have to just take planes from other places. So for example, this is in 072, and I think I'll put him on as a primary here. And then this one I have to take off and use to pass that. This guy can obviously be the air escort. And then I have everything that I need, because I'm still using 2 planes here. So now it's about PGMs, right? So this one, for example, is 14 points. And I have extra planes here, so I can make that a 15 naturally. So no worries there. So then I'm looking at other places. And so, for example, I'm going to spend 1 PGM to make that a 14, and then this will make it a 3-hit raid. This one will be 3 hits. So I hope that makes some sense. And then, you know, if there's anywhere else I can use a PGM that matters, but there isn't. I mean, I don't have any way to double something and it would actually change the outcome. So that's airplaning. And now we're going to do the stealth first. So as long as I don't draw a 10, and oh boy, I need to draw a 10, and boom, look at that. I drew a 10. I said I need not to draw a 10, and I was looking at the card before I showed it to you, and that's why I was saying, oh boy. So I'm going to kill my pilot. This is now out of the game, and that's why I got him. And we're going to draw another card, and so I saved my stealth bomber. Now, what's the worst thing that would have happened? It would have been destroyed, and then I would have had to pay 2 RPs to repair it. I mean, I could get my stealth bomber back. It just would have taken a few turns. So the dead goes up, and so now that's a 5. And so we're looking at this is a 10. So as long as I don't draw a 10, I'm okay, and I didn't. And then this is an auto pass. All my air, by the way, is auto pass. So the OCA goes back up, and I'm just putting the OCA at max just for dominance sake. So I don't need to do any air escort checks. Anywhere that you see this, I don't have to do a ground check. But I think everywhere that I have a 5, yes, I need to do a check for these 4. So I'm going to do it in order from bottom to the top. And this bottom one right here needs I only have a 9. But it doesn't matter, I got a 3. This next one needs a 9 or lower, 7. And then this last one, I got really lucky there because that was also high. So I pass everything. And once again, I forgot to put out my my stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I do succeed with the mission. So now it's just a matter of dishing out my candy. And I should have been a little more diligent of declaring this before I knew the outcome. Okay, so raid 5 is going to be 3 hits. And I'm going to put that here. And since I already know it's going to be 3 hits, I'm going to put the 3 there and just put the raid 5 back. Raid 6 is 1 hit. So raid 6 is 1 hit. So where do I want it to go? I mean, I have a lot of 8-to-1 situations, and those are going to be tough, and I don't know if I can save those. I really don't. 8-to-1 is too low. But I can try to help that one. This next one, raid 7, is 3 hits. And so, thank you, buddy. So this is going to be a 4 and a 2, because remember, you can do three of them in one location. So I'm going to make this one get beefed up. And then the next 2 raids are going to be 1 hit each. And so I'm going to knock this one up to 3, and maybe there's a chance we can save Charlie. And actually, to be quite honest, I think I'm going to do them in such a way that this one gets the 3 hits. So I would do a 3 hit and a 1 hit for 4 on this guy. And then I said that there was a 3 hit and 2 more 1 hits. So that's 5 total. So I would make this one a 5. Let's try it that way. Maybe it'll work. So ground combat, we start at the top. We succeed in hitting him. This one is a 6. Oh my gosh. That's a 14. That's not enough to do anything. If we would have had any ground support with that, that would have been huge. Now this one is a 5 plus 1 is 6. We do need some big numbers and we don't get it. So we lose and he advances. This next one, we get a 1 And that was a 7. Plus 1 is 8. We tied him. And so we lose. He advances. A lot of good our hits did. The next one, we tap him. And the last one, we tap him. Hey, bud. Whatever's left over, can you put it in a dish and stick it in the fridge? Thank you. Okay, that's that. So, we do get 3 research points. I'm going to say research points for the rest of my life, even though it's resource points, so just forgive me. 2 areas retreat of my choice. I'm going to retreat Hanover, because that's worth 2 victory points. And he gets a punch in the mouth. And I don't think I checked this one, because this was a 7 versus a 1. I don't think I was paying attention. I think this guy won. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock him back. That'll be my second one. So there you go. So he's sitting on 2 victory points. Yep. Okay. So now we draw their reinforcements. First one, second one, whoops. Third one, fourth one, fifth one, and sixth one. And the reason why I'm going through them so fast is they're all going to 8. Then we draw 6 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm shuffling. Okay, so we're drawing for our reinforcements, and we get 7, which is a healthy number. And I think I'm gonna, because this one's worth 2 victory points, I'm gonna pop this one up to 8. So Foxtrot is now gonna be formidable, but I still have a weak point here and a weak point there. Okay, resource points. I'm looking at everything. I'm going to easily pop up to 10, and I'm going to spend 3 of them and get 3 more PGMs. And so I have 1 left over for that. And then we're going to draw for the dead in OCA. The dead is odd. The OCA is even, so it loses 1. We're on turn 8. So we're steamrolling right now. I'm going to draw my 2 objectives, and we have close air support hits in Sector Echo and Foxtrot. So we need just 2 of each. I'm leaving everything out there, except I don't need to do a dead run, so the stealth bomber is going to just move up to there, and I'm going to pull these guys out, and now they can be used just to do another run, right? I can just put them in another raid like this and basically unchanged. And then this pilot here I'm going to give to the stealth bomber. But we may have to do a decap, and so they would do the decap if we succeed at this reconnaissance, and we don't. So no decap for us. No decaffeinated coffee. And off we go. Airplaning is done. So before we resolve, though, I do want to get my raids out. And yes, that's a little PGM marker. I'm going to use it again and make my PGM go down. And I think I don't have a PGM marker there. I could double. So like if I doubled a PGM and did one less raid, I could get an extra hit, but I'm not sure what value that adds. Could I do 4 hits? I think yes I can. I'm only capped out at 3 on some things, so this is 14, and this makes it 17. But if I spend another PGM, this is now a 4-hit raid, because that's 20 points right there. Could I do it here? That's a 7. That's a 7. So I'm going to spend 2 more PGMs. Let's go awesome. So this is a 14, and this is a 28. And then this is 31. So 31 divided by 4, or divided by 5, is 6 hits. So this is a 6-hit raid right here. Am I really able to just do unlimited hits? I think I can. It's divided by 5. I'm limited to 3 on these kind of things, but so where do I want to put some World of Hurt in? Well, obviously it's wherever I only have 1 strength, right? This Hanover is worth 2 victory points. So this one here is worth 6 hits. That one there is worth 6 hits. And then this one here, I think we said was worth 4. Because that's 14, yeah, and that's 20. So that's 4 hits, so this would be 10 hits right here. And then I'm going to add another one for 11, because maybe we can double something and push them back. So then where else would I go? Well, this one's only 1 hit, so then this is adding 3 more. Each of these is only 1 hit. Okay, so we resolve. We got a draw for the Stealth Bomber, and I didn't get a 10, so the OCA goes back up to 7. I think we all agree that the Air Escorts are an auto success. So now it's just, when you're looking at these, this is a 10, this is a 9, 10, and 10, and this is an auto pass. So, so we're going to do the first 10, and then the 9, and then the 10 and the 10. So here's the first 10, and then the 9, that was close, and then the 10, and then the 10. Whew. Okay, so we got them all through. So we already said that this was going to be 11 hits. So there's 4, 8, 11. Onto there. And we might actually push that guy, at least hold, if not push him back. And then this one here is just 3 hits, which we may not make a dent on that one. So, okay, so that's done, and now we do ground combat. So we start at the top. We got a 3, so he gets knocked down to a 7. This one, we got a 1. So that's a 2 plus 11 is 13 to 8. So he just gets knocked down to 7. And then the next one, oh, wrong card. 2, he gets knocked down to a 7. And then the next one is a 1. Even with the 3 hits that we did, we lose Nuremberg. So he marches in and gets another point. And then the next one, we drew a 6, which would have been nice to get somewhere else, but it doesn't do much, just knocks him down 1. And here we knock him down 1. So everything there was as expected. So first one, second one does not get a reinforcement. So we put an 8 on this, and this one stays at a 7. This third one, the fourth one, the fifth one, and the last one, they all go back up to 8. There's no beatdown going on any of them. We have yet to get a single FOFA mission in the entire game in 2 campaigns. Although I admit I quit the first campaign early. Okay, so there you go. That's that. We're going to draw our 6 more cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm just going to set them off to the side. And then we draw our reinforcements. And you can see we get 5. And I think this one, we're going to give it a 5-point bump, and it's going to go up to 6. So we now finally have our front lines reinforced. But obviously, this one pushed. And then, if we push these back, we're going to have more reinforcements we need to do. Research points. We succeeded at both of our objectives. So this is 4 points. And I'm just going to max it to 10. Foxtrot and Echo both get retreated. So that was before they drew their cards. So I did it out of order again. But Foxtrot would have taken 2 damage. They had enough. And then Echo, however, was this one. Yeah, I think we're fine. So what would happen is they take 2 extra damage because they can't retreat. But then, the reinforcement card, if it says 3 on it, it still erases everything that we did to them. So unless their reinforcement card was low, I was really hoping it was going to be one of these so we could push it back, but that wasn't the case. And again, I apologize because that's something that is critical to do in the right order. Spending RPs. I'm going down to 1 to get 3 PGMs. This is for the dead check. It's odd. This is for the other check. It's odd. So we don't have to do any raids there. And we're off to the next turn. We're on turn 9. Going to draw 2 objectives. 4 hits in Charlie, 3 hits in Alpha. I think both of those are good spots to hit, so we can accommodate that, hopefully. Okay, we're on Recon, so I'm going to try to get a decap strike, and I succeed. So I maxed out here, so I don't need to do these 2 raids. We're going to do a decap. I'm just going to move my stealth bomber over. I know that's next phase, but I'm already set up for the next round. And then this is for the event. Oh, I forgot to draw event from the last round, didn't I? Okay, well, the Recon succeeded. So first card I'm going to draw is the event for last round. Then the next card I'm going to draw is the event for me succeeding in my Recon check, okay? So here we go, event for last round. Move the ACA marker 1 space to the right. If it's already on the rightmost space, reduce the worst all pack VP by 1. That's interesting. So they just lose a victory point. That was a decent card. And then this was for us this turn. During one seed mission next turn, after drawing the resolution card, you may invoke this event to reduce the ground defense value to 0. I'm okay with that. Let's keep it. So basically it means if we fail a check, we can auto pass it. Okay, so raid planning. I'm spending 3 PGMs, the same 3 that I just bought, and this is 4 hits, and that's 6 hits, if you remember. And we need 4 hits on Charlie, and then 3 hits in Alpha. So Charlie is this dude right here. So we're going to do 4 hits in Charlie. And then this 6 hits, I'm also going to put in Charlie for 10. And then for Alpha, it's going to be 1, 2, 3. This is 3 hits in Alpha. I can only put 3 of them there. And then I'll put 1 here for 11. I think it's best that you concentrate on just one zone. And the reason you should is because you want to double them so you can knock them back. And Alpha and Charlie are actually going to go back anyways, because if we succeed with our mission, which we should, they get knocked back anyways. And so if we can knock them back and knock them back yet again, then they take a lot of hits. So that also helps. Now, one other thing I noticed here is Bravo. Actually, I'm going to put 1 point over here on Bravo. So that'll help there. Okay, so let's do our resolution. I'm going to draw for the stealth bomber, and I did not get a 10. So now let's see if we can find a 10-10. And I know there's got to be at least one more. We got rid of 4 of them. Oh my gosh, there's no more. Oh, you know what? They're in the dang reinforcements. Those 6 cards that we had to draw for the reinforcements, I bet that's where it is. Ah, that little stinker, he's hiding from me. He doesn't want me to come and get him. So I found this 9-10, and I'm going to get rid of that one. Although that's the one that let us double our NATO reinforcements. That was actually pretty awesome. Chances are we're not going to get that as an event again. It'll come out as some harm. So I can tell you very confidently there's not a single 10 in this deck. So we are going to auto pass everything except for 1 check. Because there's 1 plane I have that has a 9 check. So let's do that right now. And that plane is this one right here with a pilot. So we will get a second draw if we fail. So this one has a 9 check. And of course we drew a 9. So I'm going to kill the German pilot and draw a second one. And we pass. Okay. So everything passed. And so we have 4, 8, 10 here. And this one's a 1. And then the other one is a 6. I don't even have enough hit markers. Oh, no, I do. I do. Just barely. Yeah, I highly recommend that you just leave your planes set up in their boxes, because then your planning phase, the next round, is a lot quicker. Because you're pretty much going to just do the same sorties, right? Yeah, it's definitely helpful. Okay, so let's do combat now. First one here. We get 2 points, and then we add 6 more is 8. So 8 plus 8 is 16 to their 8. So they get knocked back by 1 and they retreat. So now we get to put a 1 in. And so there you go, they're at a 7. And I can tell you that this one is a retreat sector alpha. And I'm going to try to do these now so I don't forget them. And the retreat in sector alpha is going to cause him to take 2 hits. So he's going to drop down to 5. Because he can't retreat anymore. He always takes 1 hit when he retreats, but then since he can't retreat, he takes an extra hit. So that's how that works. Next, we're on beta, and we got a 2, so we knock him down to a 6. Next, we're on Charlie, and this is one of our objectives. So we drew a 2, and this is a 10, so that's 12. So yes, we retreat him. And we get to put a 1 in to make a food out of you. And then he retreats a second time. So he's going to take 2 more hits like that. And then all of these come off. So now I actually feel like my air raids are making a difference. It's just, you have to go a few turns clearing out their SAM missile sites. And, you know, because that's what I view the dead track being, right? Is that we finally took out all their air installations, and you know, they don't have any more bogeys to launch at us, and even if they do, we got, you know, AWACS in place or whatever, and so now we're finally making a dent on the war. So this is a 1, but that's enough to knock them down. And as long as we don't draw a 0, when you have an 8 and they have an 8, it's pretty powerful, because all you have to do is draw at least a 1, and you hit them. So now they get to reinforce, and so first one is a 5, which sucks. That's that 10-10 card. So we had him down to a 5, but he just popped right back up to an 8. This next one is a 2, so he pops up to an 8. Next one is a 1, which is helpful because he only goes to a 6, and that's going to be an 8. That's going to be an 8, and that's going to be an 8. So 8's for everybody else. It's like Oprah. You got an 8, and you got an 8. Okay, so now we draw 6 more cards for them. That's done. And then we're going to draw our reinforcement card, and we get 9. But we've been getting super lucky with this. So there's a lot of cool places we can go here with this. This is a 1 versus a 6. This is a 1 versus an 8. And since we drew a 9, I'm going to capitalize on that and spend 7 of them to knock Hamburg up to an 8. And then I have 2 more, and I'm going to knock Hanover up to an 8. So now we got Alpha and Bravo covered. The only one that's going to need help is Charlie. And since our airstrikes are so damn good right now, with PGMs, we're going to make Charlie very secure. So we can always secure one zone. The other thing that we may want to do is get Delta secure here, right? Because you can bump this up. So we got, for those 2 objectives we did, we had 8 RPs. We're up to 10. I don't even need to count RPs. We automatically get 10. And we're always going to spend 3. But the event that's happening is our seed is going to get, it's almost like a pilot. We get a second draw if we ever fail. And that's it. We move to turn 10. Let's draw for these 2. The dead got an odd, and the other one got an even. So the OCA at a 6 doesn't hurt me. My lowest airstrike is 5, so even if I add +6, it's still auto kill. So we're on our next turn. We draw our 2 objectives, and you can see Sector Delta is the one we actually want to do work in. So they want us to get 4 hits in Delta, and we're more than happy to do that. And then they want 5 raids total, so we can do that as well. So we're going to knock that out of the park, in fact. So let's do the Recon. I want to be able to do a decap strike, and we do. So everything is the way it is. I'm not even sure I care about a FOFA strike. So let's do the event one. We fail. Okay, so with this being a 5 and this being a 6, all the air auto passes. Let's do this stealth bomber right now, and we pass. And so we get to kill one. And where's that 10-10 guy? We know you're around. You're not going to hide from us forever. And where are you? There it is, right there. So we got rid of the last of the Mohicans there. I don't think there's a single card that has a 10 on it left in the game. So that's awesome sauce. I can't say that enough. So now we're going to just draw cards for our ground strikes. And I need to get my raids set out as well. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this pilot up to this guy because this is the one that does 6 hits. And that's going to go on Delta. And then this is the one that does 4 hits. That's also going to go on Delta for 10. Well, actually, I got to be mindful of this, although that doesn't lose me any points. So let's look at the other ones. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what? I'm going to do that one for 4. Nope, this one will get the 6. This will get a 4, and then 2 more for 6. So this one's going to get 6 total. Sorry, I'm not letting you see. I'm going to put 6 total on Delta. I needed 4, and I more than passed it. And then this is 6 hits right here, and then I'm going to add 2 more to make it 8. I'm sorry, yeah, 8. And remember, I can only do 3 raids per location, so that's why I have to do that. So I'm going to start with raid 4 here. It needs to do a check. I'm only at a 10. Oh, there's no 10s left in the deck, but let's let's draw anyways in case I'm wrong. No 10. Then this next one is a 9, so I need an 8 or lower. So I pass. And then a 10 or lower, and I pass. So I mean, I had a 10, so a 9 or lower is fine. And then this last one, a 9 or lower is fine. So that finishes that. And we do, so we said that this was 5, which is 4 hits, 5, 6 hits. This one's going to be 6 hits. So let me get everything out. There's a 4 and a 2. I'm just going to put them side by side. I know the FOFA is for something else, but we're not using it. And then this is 6, 7, 8 hits. I thought that was funny where it was a 6, 7, 8 marker. But anyways, 4 and 4, like so. Okay, so we're going to start at the top. It's 8 versus 8. I drew a 4. He's knocked down to a 7. Next one's 8 versus 8. I drew a 1. He's knocked down to a 7. This one is a 1 versus 6. I drew a 1. So that puts me at a 2. Plus 8 more is 10. So I knocked him down to a 5. And this next one is 8 versus 8. I drew a 2. So that's 6. Plus 8 is 14. Plus 2 is 16. So I doubled him. So I knock him back 1. And we took a zone, and he loses a point. At this point, he should be at 0. In fact, he should be at -1 because he lost a point earlier. And I don't know, do I give him a -1? I'm assuming he just stays at 0. Okay, so that one was done. The next one is a 3. So we knocked him down to a 7. The next one is a 1, so we knock him down to a 7, and then we resolve our cards. And this says he retreats in sector Delta. So Delta is this one, so we're going to knock him back 1 more and put a 1 in place. And then this last one says I get to retreat 1 Warsaw Pact each in 2 sectors of your choice. So it's 2 retreats total. So I just get to do 2 retreats. So I will knock this guy down to a 3, since he's a 1. At this point, I'm going to stop. It's pointless. I can reinforce everybody. Who cares? I can reinforce myself. Who cares? This is the final turn of the game. So we're at the end, and they have a victory and defeat that says... if I have 0 to 4 victory points, it's an overwhelming victory. And so that's what I got, an overwhelming victory. And of course, if at any point the Warsaw Pacts reach their thrust lines, it immediately ends in humiliating defeat. So you'll see me do this a lot. I lose to the point of being angry at the game, and then I chew on it for a day, and then I come back with a solution. That's not uncommon. I do that at work too, and my boss is always... happy when I get angry about something, because then she knows a day later I'm going to come back with a solution. This one, I'm still convinced that there's only one way to play it, and it was the way I just played it. And if you play it any other way, you might still somehow win, but it's only going to be because luck. And I still insist that the only reason I won this is because of luck. If we would have drawn cards differently, those NATO reinforcements for us were huge. So anyways, I wanted to talk about these other scenarios. So let's just put this down so you can have a steady camera. So this one, you can see 4, 8, 12, 13, 14. There's 16 planes in this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more 7 more reinforcements, right? So then this is 4, 7, 10, 12, 14 planes with 8 reinforcements. So 16 and 7 is 23, 14 and 8 is 22. So for sure, they're starting you with less planes here. The stealth plane is awesome. This 138 plane is awesome. And those two are your key to getting your dead and OCA tracks up, right? And then everything else is just helping you fill in the blanks, right? This is obviously going to help you with escorts. This is obviously going to help you with ground control, you know, those two. But you can already see that you're starting with less. And of course you get some nice reinforcements here. And these are all the right planes to get reinforcements. I mean, this is a really awesome British plane here. And you're getting all the right American planes. And even the Canadian planes, really good. So what you're going to see is they start with a 4.53, and this is a 4.53. So the Russians don't get any bonus. But you'll see here it's a 1.223 instead of a 2.233. So everything is just a tad lower, but not by much. And then here, turn 1 special rules, skip the receive objectives, recon, air planning, and raid resolution phases for turn 1. So basically you just do ground combat. You don't do any recon, you don't do any air planning or raid resolution. That's interesting. So then you're going to get these reinforcements before the game even starts, really. So you start with these, and then, oh, here. Flip over resolution card, consult its air value. The number of your at start air units are moved to the damage box. Oh, okay, that is hard. All right, that's not nice. Very not nice. This is a tactical surprise. So scenario 2, I am agreeing, is harder. And it looks like your PGM value is 3 for scenario 2. I don't know what it was for scenario 1, but oh, it was 5. So you start with less PGMs too. Okay, that's harder. I totally agree that that's harder. So even with the formula or the system, this is definitely making it not nice. Then we got, this is our third one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Only 9 of them. And there you go, same thing. You're flipped to the damage box. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 16 by the end of the first turn. You only start with 2 PGMs. And then 17, 18, 19, 21, 22, 25. You actually are going to have, you're going to use every plane in the game with scenario 3. I at least give them credit that they didn't try to screw you in that way. And then you can see 4.53 is actually tougher than, nope, it's the same start here, but look at all these ones. You're definitely got a lot weaker NATO units here. And it's, again, it's a surprise thing where you skip basically the entire first turn. So, yeah, I mean, I just showed how you can steamroll the first one, but I do think these make it, those are harder. Those are certainly harder. The fact that you have to damage a bunch of units on turn 1, yeah, that's not fun. Not fun at all. They're not nice. Okay, so that's it. That's this game. Okay, the second playthrough redeemed it. I was angry after the first one, and I think my assessment when I started was spot on. I dealt with extremely bad luck. I think that that is true, because you can see that I had really good luck with this one. Or if anything, at minimum, you'll agree with me that I didn't have the bad luck I had after the first one. So this one for sure went better. And then the key really is you have to guarantee your air. These two things are, you don't take them lightly. You need to make sure that they're auto pass, basically. The decap raids, getting rid of those 10s, I think are crucial. I got extremely lucky with my NATO reinforcements. I mean, you saw that one card, the NATO reinforcement was just 2. We only had that once out of all 10 turns. We were getting 7 or higher, I think, every other turn. It's just a crazy high number. So we did well. And it's got all the things I like in an air combat game. And I think all my statements just still stand. I think there's one and only way to start the game, and it's this OCA and dead track need to go up. Because once the OCA and dead track went up, you could see what I was able to accomplish. When you only assign 1 unit to air escort, that's awesome. And you know what? I could have assigned no unit to air escort and still had a 7 for my value. That's how powerful that is. I mean, if you're willing to risk a 7 draw, like look at this. So I would have passed. And so I could have had no other air escort at all and still potentially did even more raids. I was very satisfied with just the minimum number of raids that I did, but you could have made it so you're doing all 9 of them. So the ground combat modifier, this middle number, is the most rare one. You just never have enough of those because you need them for this and you need them for that when you're doing close air support. So you just never have enough of those types of planes. And between the two, the dead track is definitely more important. The OCA track, I think once you get it up though, it does get into sweet sauce here. So anyways, I don't think there's anything I can say about it that I haven't already said. It's a neat little game. The price point was fine for what it is. I mean, this isn't epic, 100-hour long game, and the price point matches it. And again, the component quality is awesome, and I love these chips. I wish GMT did this. They're really nice. They're thick and they're strong, and they were easy to punch. Anyways, very neat little game, NATO Air Commander. I would be, I don't know, like if I were to do a sequel or to suggest a sequel to this, I would just want something that maybe helps me mitigate the cards a little bit more. I know I have pilots, but the pilots don't, you need resource points to get pilots, and by the time you get the pilots, you already have the game under control. That's the thing I don't like about it, is by the time I got the pilots, I was no longer needing them. That's the part that was interesting about this. I think what I would like to see in a future game of this that would make it more fun for me is I want to be able to level up pilots. So, I don't know, these components, maybe get better. Their stats get better as they go. So that way the game is less about hammering you with 8s all the way across the board, and cards that have really high numbers. I don't know, maybe some kind of progression. But anyways, the game redeemed itself. So I'm really glad I started over. I am super glad I did not continue that last game. But I do. The cliff is steep on this one. And that's a term I use, because when you're playing around or you're backing up, the game's pushing you, right? And you're doing this sword battle, the cliff behind you is steep. So if the game gets you to step back just one too many times, you're going to fall over that cliff and you're never going to get back up. So this game has a real steep cliff. Some games you can fall behind and you can rebound, right? And catch up and still win. I think that Charlemagne turned out to be that way for me in a little bit. This one, not so much. You got to have your thumb on the Warsaw Pact, and you got to have your thumb on these dials. And as long as you can keep your thumb on it. I mean, this whole game, I felt like my decisions were making sure that this stayed throttled up and my thumb is on them, right? And I'm pushing them down and I'm not letting them take it back, right? That's what I felt like this game was. So once I started to take control, then I kept the control, right? And so that's how this game is. And if the game starts to get control over you, there's, like I said, the cliff is steep. So anyways, thank you for watching. Stay awesome. And we'll have to see what's next on the games.